Winston Churchill and Franklin D. Roosevelt. Two leaders, two styles. One world at war. The story of modern leadership is often told through battles and treaties, but its true essence is revealed in moments of crisis, when nations stand on the edge of collapse and a single voice can shape the fate of millions. During the darkest years of the 20th century, as the world was engulfed by the flames of World War II, two leaders emerged as symbols of resistance, resolve, and vision: Winston Churchill and Franklin D. Roosevelt. 1. The indomitable British Prime Minister who rallied a besieged island nation with words of iron; the other, the American President who guided a reluctant superpower into global leadership through strategy, patience, and institutional strength. Though allies bound by necessity, they embodied two distinct models of power and leadership. This comparison explores their leadership styles, political philosophies, wartime strategies, and enduring legacies, flowing continuously without tabular breaks. Winston Churchill. The voice of defiance. Winston Churchill, 1874 to 1965, was a man forged by history before history demanded him. Born into Britain's political elite, Churchill experienced both triumph and failure long before assuming leadership. When he became Prime Minister in 1940, Britain stood alone against Nazi Germany, militarily vulnerable, economically strained, and psychologically exhausted. Churchill's greatest weapon was not tanks or planes, but language. Through speeches broadcast across the nation, he transformed fear into defiance. His rhetoric framed survival itself as an act of heroism. "We shall never surrender" was not merely a slogan, it became a national identity. Churchill understood that morale was as critical as military strength, and he used words to fortify the British spirit. Strategically, Churchill favored bold action. He believed in striking when possible, even at great risk, and distrusted passivity. His leadership was personal, emotional, and deeply symbolic. He visited bombed cities, stood among ruins, and presented himself as the embodiment of national resistance. Yet his style was also confrontational, sometimes impulsive, and marked by fierce determination that left little room for doubt or compromise. Churchill's legacy is inseparable from Britain's survival. He did not promise victory, he promised struggle. In doing so, he preserved not only a nation, but the moral resolve of Europe during its darkest hour. Franklin D. Roosevelt. The architect of endurance. Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1882 to 1945, led from a different position of power. As President of the United States, Roosevelt commanded vast economic and industrial resources, but faced a population wary of foreign wars. His challenge was not immediate invasion, but preparation, transforming a divided democracy into a global force capable of sustained conflict. Roosevelt's leadership was strategic, patient, and institutional. He believed in building systems rather than symbols. Through policies such as Lend-Lease, he supported Allied resistance long before America formally entered the war. His mastery lay in coalition building, aligning political interests, managing egos, and coordinating military and economic power on a global scale. Unlike Churchill's fiery speeches, Roosevelt's communication was calm and reassuring. His fireside chats spoke directly to ordinary citizens, fostering trust rather than fear. Despite being physically weakened by polio, he projected confidence, stability, and continuity. His strength was quiet but relentless. Roosevelt's vision extended beyond victory. He sought a post-war world built on cooperation, institutions, and collective security, laying the groundwork for the United Nations and a new global order. His legacy was not only winning the war, but shaping the peace that followed. The alliance, fire and foundation. Churchill and Roosevelt were bound by necessity, but balanced each other through contrast. Churchill supplied urgency, passion, and moral clarity; Roosevelt provided resources, structure, and long-term vision. One inspired resistance, the other ensured sustainability. Their partnership demonstrated that leadership in crisis requires multiple dimensions. Passion without capacity collapses, capacity without conviction stagnates. Together, they formed a complete engine of wartime leadership, one igniting the flame, the other fueling it until victory. Yet their differences remained clear. Churchill was a warrior statesman rooted in imperial tradition, Roosevelt was a reformer shaping a new global era. One fought to preserve an old world, the other prepared to build a new one. Legacy and historical impact. Churchill and Roosevelt redefined leadership under existential threat. Their decisions altered borders, alliances, and the structure of global power. They demonstrated that democracy could survive and prevail against authoritarian force. Their legacies endure as reminders that leadership is not singular in form. Strength can roar or reassure, courage can inspire or organize. In moments of crisis, history demands not perfection, but resolve. Both men, in their own ways, proved that a human being does not need armies or crowns to change the course of history. A ship, a camel, a caravan, or simply a pen and parchment, armed with vision and courage, can redraw humanity's map. Marco Polo and Christopher Columbus remain immortal, not for dominion over lands, but for expansion of human awareness. They are the explorers who, beyond their journeys, continue to rule the realms of geography, imagination, and history. If you liked this comparison, don't forget to support the channel. Likes, comments, and subscribing power the continuation of content like this. Which other explorers, thinkers, or historical adventurers do you think we should compare in the next video?